So I've played quite a few matches of 64-player Conquest and Breakthrough since it released this morning in Battlefield 2042 as a limited time mode. The same that was supposed to happen with Rush, which was extended through the holiday season as per their tweet earlier today. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what I think of 64-player Conquest and Breakthrough and why I think they should actually be permanently instated into the all-out warfare experience of Battlefield 2042. So of course the first major point on why I think they should be permanent is because the performance is far better than 128-player Conquest and Breakthrough. I would consider I was getting some pretty playable frame rates despite still not being what I would hope my PC could push out in a game like Battlefield. So I was getting around 100 to 115 to 20 frames per second on 64-player Conquest and Breakthrough, as opposed to the abysmal 70, sometimes 50 frames per second that I was getting on 128 players. Conquest and Breakthrough, especially Breakthrough, because Breakthrough is really a condensed mode where 95% of the action is happening in a very small part of the map, which makes it so that there's a lot more happening on your screen at any given time. So the performance was far better on 64-player Conquest and Breakthrough than the other two modes, which I now pretty much refuse to play. Since they released the Rush playlist in Battlefield Portal, I've been pretty much exclusively playing that because it is one way that allows you to level up your character and your weapons, but not be in such of a, pardon my French, clusterfuck that is 128-player Conquest and Breakthrough. I'm a big supporter of being able to play the game how you want to play it in the game modes that you want to play while still being able to level up, because let's face it, leveling up and ranking up or getting cool new attachments for your weapons is always fun. It gives you that little dopamine kick of unlocking something new or ranking up, which is always nice. And having that taken away from people that want to play Battlefield how they want to play it in Portal, so custom servers, is kind of sucks. So I wasn't really playing that much custom games in Battlefield Portal, which is why I stick mostly to Rush. And I've been having a blast in Rush, playing with my friends as a pre-made squad or just playing with one of my friends. It is a lot of fun. It runs absolutely great. There is very minimal stuttering, if any, for me at least. So yeah, Rush is fantastic, and I hope they keep that as a main staple game mode and even put that in Battlefield 2042's all-out warfare experience instead of putting it behind Portal, because let's face it, not everybody's going to go and look into Portal. A lot of the people are just going to stick to the all-out warfare. So if they add Rush as a game mode that you can have in all-out warfare, that would be a plus. But 64-player Conquest and Breakthrough is a step in the right direction, in my opinion. It is a lot less chaotic. There's less stuff happening at any given moment. It runs a lot better. There is a lot less vehicles because the players are cut in half, so you don't have the feeling of always getting destroyed by vehicles unless you're in certain parts of the map on which vehicles have a minimal amount of influence, such as, for example, the carrier on a discarded. So when you're inside the carrier, maybe not on the roof of the carrier, but inside. Same thing for Kaleidoscope, so you can get some pretty good infantry fights in the middle building on Kaleidoscope. So I was able to often traverse the map on foot without getting any vehicle of any kind and not get murdered every time I go into the open a little bit, or I'm not necessarily behind a piece of cover or have a roof over my head. I didn't have the feeling of always getting destroyed by vehicles, and that was really nice, being a mostly infantry focused player. Now I realize that it's part of the chaos of Battlefield to have vehicles all over the place and, you know, this big all-out warfare experience, but sometimes you just don't have the opportunity to be in a vehicle, and you know, you want to play on foot because there's no vehicles available to you. It doesn't feel fun to just always have vehicles influence how your gunfights end up. So it was a lot less prominent of a problem in 64-player Conquest and Breakthrough, at least in my opinion. So this is all subjective opinion. I just think that 64 players is the way to go. Granted, the maps could use a little bit of tweaking here and there, so maybe some flag placements could be changed to improve the overall flow of the map, but having them set as a limited time mode, I think, is a misstep. And I'm sure they're going to look at the metrics and see, okay, there is a lot more people playing 64-player Conquest and Breakthrough, so we're going to have to make them main staples of all-out warfare, for the simple fact that they see the metrics, they see the numbers, they see the engagement with that specific game mode. So they have all that data. So if people play that enough and are engaged enough with the 64-player versions of the game modes in All Out Warfare, I have no doubt that they are going to make them permanent and should make them permanent, because not everybody has a system that is capable of running 128 players. There's just too much happening. That's the only way to put it. 128 players is a very, very big load on your CPU and really system overall. I'll leave a link in the description down below if you want to go watch Hardware Unboxed's video on the performance of Battlefield 2042 on a wide variety of systems and why there's only so much optimization they can do. But yeah, it's an interesting watch. But I didn't want to ramble on too long in this video. I just wanted to give my thoughts on 64-player Conquest and Breakthrough and how and why I believe it should be implemented as a permanent addition rather than just a limited time mode. And I take the time to say also that I think Rush or some types of smaller game modes should also be implemented into All Out Warfare, because it's nice to mix it up every now and then and not have the feeling of not progressing whatsoever with your character progression, so leveling up and also leveling up your weapons. It's just nice to have options. So something like Domination or Frontlines, or all these different game modes that we've had in past Battlefields, it'd be nice to see some implemented into Battlefield 2042 in the All Out Warfare experience so that people can get XP for their time invested in the game. But yeah, that'll do it for today's video. Let me know your thoughts on 64-player Conquest and Breakthrough in the comment section down below. Do you think this should be permanent? Do you think this should just be limited time? Leave all that down there. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.